Hello everybody out there in Learning Land, Tyler from Tenthumbsproductions, coming at you with another ukulele tutorial like we do every single Wednesday and Saturday. We recently just finished the Blues Challenge, which taught all 5 shapes of the pentatonic scale in the key of G. So today we're going to play one solo that uses all 5 shapes. Because this is related to the Blues Challenge, I'm going to go ahead and give the tab away for free and the backing track pinned in the first comment of the comment section. If you like the tabs and backing track, you can become a Patreon. If you like the tabs and the backing track, go ahead and become a Patreon. Links in the notes, information in the description. You'll also see my email if you want some one-on-one lessons via Zoom or Skype. All right, so now that you know what it is, let's go ahead and grab our ukulele, brain and attention span, and break down this whole solo. Come on in, let's do it. All right, so we're jumping right into it. This is the first 4 measures of the blues. And what I have up here above that is the phrases. A phrase is another word for a lick. Well, kind of. A phrase is a lick, but specifically multiple phrases make a solo. So it's a lick, but a lick that belongs to a solo. And what I like to do is identify the phrases and then practice each phrase individually like they are a lick. So that's exactly what we're going to do, and we're going to start with the first phrase. The very first phrase is kind of this little opening phrase that starts off on the 10th fret of the A string. Now this note here, if you were in the challenge, this note is the root note for both shape 1 and shape 5 of the minor pentatonic or blues scale. What we're going to do is we're going to click this and just kind of do an infinity slide. And what I do is I also tap the ukulele on the second beat. I go 1, 2, and then I grab this 3rd fret here of the E string. This is also a G note. These are octaves. Ouch. So you can hear that this G note is an octave above this G note. This is a classic little trick BB used to do all the time to start his soloing off. So we'd call it kind of like an intro phrase. 1, 2, and 3, 4. And then our second phrase is in the minor pentatonic, and it is revolving around the second shape of the minor pentatonic. And it's just this triplet that plays over the whole C7 measure. G note, D note, F note, G note. 1 pola. And it resolves on that G note right when the harmony goes back to G on the first beat of the 3rd measure. 1 pola, 2 pola, 3 pola, 4 pola, 1. And that'll ring out for 2 beats. The 3rd phrase starts off with the blue note. Now, if you watched, we did a video on the blue note as well. I'll put a link up here in the notes from the Blues Challenge, and it really went in depth into what it is. But over the G7, you can use both the G minor pentatonic, the blue note, and the BB box. The BB box we did not go into the challenge, so for my challengers, I will put a link in the description for the BB box as well if you want some review. So here on the 3rd beat, it's 16th notes, 1 hammer 2, and then on the and, you're going to grab the 3rd fret of the E string. 2, 3 E and 4 and. So some syncopation here. Then on the first beat of the 4th measure, you're going to come over to the 3rd fret, but you're going to use your index finger, not your ring finger, because we're going to do a triplet that goes 3, 4, 3. Then back to 4, do, do, and then back to 3. This is the BB box. It's a G7, and we're playing the 6th interval. So we get really cool, bluesy, major, positive, cool sound. So if we play just that 3rd phrase, we get 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1 pola, 2, and 3, 4. Okay, so phrase number 4 sounds like this. Really, really cool. Very bluesy. So now we're up here in shape number 4. And what we're going to do is 5th fret, 6th fret, a nice double stop here. we're going to play triplets. 1 pola 2. And then on the second beat, we're going to give it just a little baby bend, just a little push up, and then grab the 7th fret with our ring finger. 1 pola 2 and 1 pola 2 and 3 pola 4 and 1 pola 2 and 3 pola 4 and right back to the 5th fret of the A string. 5, 8, 7, 8, 6, 8. So that second phrase is just eighth notes. Take it nice and slowly, and if you're familiar with the shape, it shouldn't be too tricky. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Third beat's a quarter measure, fourth beat's a quarter measure. On the fourth beat, after it goes, it's going to go 4, and then on 1, you're actually going to bend it up a full step. C note, D note. The C note is in the C7, and the D note is in the D7. So we're bending on the C7, and we're waiting till it changes, so that way when we do the bend, we bend from chord tone to chord tone. Really, really, really cool sound, because it emphasizes the changes in the harmony, the changes in the chord, the C7 to the G7, but it does it with a bend. If that bend's too hard, if the bend's too hard, you could just slide up or just play the 10th fret. Okay, so let's play it nice and slow, but let's count it. 1 pola 2 and 3 pola 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Yeah, very cool. All right, so that bends out, and you're gonna go 1, and then you're gonna go let it rest on the 2. 1, 2, third beat, the next phrase starts. Now the third beat, we're getting into shape number 5 and shape number 1. We're going to slide from 8 to 10. 8, 10, 10. Notice how I use my ring finger for the 10th fret of both the A and the E string. So we get 3 and 4 and 1. On the first beat, 8 to 10 with your index finger down here. Because then we're going to go right into shape 5 triplet, which is going to go 10, 13, 12. 2 pola 3, 10th fret on the third beat, 3 and 13, 3 and 4. And on 4, you're going to bend 13 up to 15. These high-pitched bends down here are actually sometimes a little easier because where the string is shorter here, it jumps up in pitch with less effort. So you can actually get from 13 to 15 pretty easily. Nice and slow, we get 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2 pola 3, and 4. All right, last 4 measures. So last 4 measures, we also have 2 phrases. The first phrase starts on the second beat of the first 2 measures, and then the last phrase is a turnaround. So this is pretty common. When you're approaching the D7 and the C7, there's kind of 2 ways to do it. Well, there's definitely more than 2 ways, but 2 very common ways would be arpeggios over the D7 and C7, like locking in and just finger picking the chords or playing the arpeggios. And then the other one is highlighting the D note over the D in the scale, the C note over the C, which is what we're going to do here. So we're going to drop down, and we're in the third shape. We go 5, 6, 3, 5, 5, because we're doing triplets. So it's 1 pola 2. Well, actually, it's 1, 2 pola 3, 4. Using my middle finger, ring finger, index finger, middle finger. 1, 2 pola 3, 4. Rest on the 1 again. Now we're in shape 2. And it's the same idea. 3, 3, 1, 3, 3. 1, 2 pola, 3, 4. 1, 2 pola, 3, 4. 1, 2 pola, 3, 4. And then another really common thing in a solo is to throw a turnaround in the solo as well. It helps kind of get the solo back into the rhythm, and it also does a very cool and fun job of outlining these last chords. So this turnaround sounds like this. Open G string, 5th fret of the A, open G together, and then triplets down here. So you get 1, 2 pola, 3. 3rd beat, just the 4th fret, open. 3rd fret, 4 pola, and then we're going to strum the G7 on the 1st beat here. Now it sounds cool if you can do that stab, that staccato. You strum down, and I actually use like these 3 fingers together, and then I release with my strumming hand and get the G string with my thumb. 1, 2, and 3. I bar the 3rd fret here, both E and A strings, which comes from the C5, 4, 5, which comes from the D5, D, or the D7. So you get boop, boop, boop. 1, 2 pola, 3, 4 pola, 1, 2, and 3. And then you can also, one step I kind of skip just so the video is not too long, is instead of practicing just phrase by phrase, another thing you could do is put these 2 phrases together and practice these 4 measures. 1, 2 pola, 3, 4, 1, 2 pola, 3, 4, 1, 2 pola, 3, 4 pola, 1, 2, and 3, 4 into the top. And you would jump back into rhythm, or you get ready to take it around for another time, because solos, when you're playing the blues, your solo's 12 bars. So, or better yet, solos in chunks of 12 bars. So it can go 12, 24, 36, 48, 60. It's really up to you, but you're thinking about it more or less in chunks of 12. All right, and that is the solo. So let's put the whole thing together. So if you made it this far, that means you can play the whole solo. Congratulations. You have a tasty blues solo in the key of G. Go ahead and check the additional links that I put in the description. That's links to each shape individually, so you can take the time to master them, really get them under your fingers, and start to apply the stuff to your own improvisation and your own composition. All right, until next time, keep on rocking and rolling. Have a lovely day, and we'll catch you next Wednesday or Saturday for ukulele, Monday for guitar. Take care and have a lovely day. Rock and roll.